You ever go to record something knowing you're going to upset people?
It's a revolution.
Guys, this is an interesting one for me, and welcome back to Young Controversy. I'm your host, Devin Roberts. Anchor.fm/podcasting is where you can find me daily, and you can see YouTube updates here in these daily breakdowns. And today I'm telling you guys why I am less religious as I have gotten older. Now, I preface this with the fact that I am only 22 recording this video, so older is subjective to who's listening to my podcast. But I want to give a little bit of my background before I get into this, just to show where I have authority on the issue. My upcoming was kind of religious. My upcoming was extremely religious, guys. I started out in a private church preschool when I was 3 or 4 years old. Around the age of 6, wound up going to a private school that I stayed at till I wound up in senior year in high school. All at the same place. We're teaching religion every day as a class, and not only that, but going once a week to a chapel/church service, and then going often on Sundays doing the same thing. Now, my household wasn't as religious as that situation was. I went to a school that taught religion as doctrine and helped us study it and things of that nature, specifically, of course, the Christian religion. No specific denomination, if anyone's wondering. Now, while I was at that school, I loved it, truly. I enjoyed my high school more than I could ever express to it. But outside of that, I was kind of a black sheep. I didn't do as much schoolwork as well as I should have. Absolutely was kind of a little bit of a rebel to a degree that I shouldn't have been. And I specifically wasn't buying the whole thing that the religion was teaching. My teachers that were said to have doctorates and masters in religious study would talk against gay rights and against sex before marriage and against things that didn't exactly compute with me mentally and with the way I saw the world and the way we were living. So I thought the best way to handle that, just in my teenage mind, and I probably agree with this now, that's a lot of what's led to this political pathway that I've gone down, is I think the best way to handle that is with clean, friendly, no hurt feelings debate, discussion. I wanted to challenge them on their viewpoints with my own. And when I first started realizing this was probably early high school, freshman or sophomore year, and that led to me studying other religions, studying Buddhism and Islam and Hinduism and the different teachings that have been throughout history that have inspired Christianity and inspired other religions to act in the ways that they have, and mostly the differences between them and why other people believe those over the religion that I had been taught my whole life. Now, when I had been in this situation and throughout this high school experience that I had been going through, some teachers would respond to it incredibly. The idea that I would challenge the norm and I would think about it critically was something that they loved over some kids who would just write the answers down on tests and not really care much else about it, which I understand as well. I enjoyed being that kid that thought through it and that got to discuss with the teacher the different philosophical and worldview beliefs on a different level. But other teachers would get offended by it, and I think that might have been partially to the way I acted, or maybe how hot-blooded I was during debates. I enjoyed them for the combative sense of them as much as I did the learning sense of them, which I've tried to learn to tone down in my debates, I guess, to a degree at this point, and try to be in them truly to learn something new. But these debates would lead me specifically on debates that related to gay rights and gay marriage. I had some in high school. I had a tie to that issue because I never could understand it. I never understood why something that didn't affect you in any way, shape, or form would be something that you would argue against simply because your religious beliefs on a legal basis. Like, I understand you can argue that's wrong in your personal moral beliefs. That's 100% within you, man. I can't argue what you personally feel is wrong and why, but I can argue that just because you feel it's wrong doesn't mean you should believe it's legal. You should believe that it should be legal, but it's wrong morally, just like lying is legal but wrong morally within the Christian religion. People need to understand that their religion doesn't necessarily line up with what needs to be legal within the United States. Now, saying all that, I want to get back to why I'm less religious now than I was then. One thing I've learned is that religion has fallacies, and not only that, but religion is impossible to follow. People don't realize the slip-ups that have come throughout religion throughout the years. Not only have I found that, in case you don't know this, at a point the Catholic Church, there were way more, there's 66 books in a modern day Bible. That was not always the case. At a point there were hundreds. The Catholic Church got a hold of them, picked 66, translated them into a language that no one that was a commoner could understand, said those 66 were the important ones, gave them back to the people, translated them into a bunch of different languages, and now we have them today. For me, and that was from a Bible that was already translated from a couple different languages. I don't see, having studied more than one language, how the message could have interpreted so specifically and exactly that way. And what I mean in that is that throughout time, religion has become something that is introspective and more of the heart to me, and I think to a lot of people, than it is about, I guess, worshiping God exactly as the book dictates. The book for Islam, the book for Christianity is so full of false lies, contradictions, ridiculous amount of contradictions, that to believe it word for word and verbatim and not as just an idiom and a direction for which you should follow is something that I think most young people or most millennials have switched off of. I believe that the lessons that are taught in the Bible, the stories, and even if they were completely true, should be followed with a grain of salt based on the modern day era. Of course, don't lie. Of course, don't murder. Of course, don't steal. But if I want to eat shrimp, I don't think God will be mad at me. And I also don't believe that going to church every Sunday, where I find hypocritical people and people who aren't there to truly worship God and are often there to talk about other people within their church and cause more problems than good, is the best way to convene with people of my similar worldviews. And not only that, it's anti-apostle, it's anti-go out and spread religion. Everything the church does is within the church. There's very few people within the church who actually are evangelical, or I guess who are evangelistic Christians. There's not many evangelistic Christians in the church. They're not going out and talking to others and spreading their word. Jesus was known as someone who sat with sinners and prostitutes and thieves and bad people to spread his message, and that's something the church is completely left on standby. So for me, religion has become something that is more, you could almost sum up religion into worldview. It's how you believe you should live your life, how you believe you should treat the universe, the higher power. Most people, I think, believe that there's a higher power at play within the universe, but can't really say that they can define it. I think there's something out there that is higher and stronger, but I don't believe that I personally know what it is or can define it. I want to serve the greater good. I want to serve the purpose of whatever the divine is, but I don't claim to understand it. And I think that's the most important part. When you claim to understand something so far outside of your control that it's not supposed to even perceive the concept of time, guys, or the concept of presence and reality, it's on a completely different era or plethora of being that I don't claim to understand it, and I don't claim that a book can tell me everything I need to know about it. And I think when people learn to accept that, people will start taking religion more seriously, and you'll stop seeing the death of churches. I'm anti-religion at this point, guys, because I believe religion and the ancient sense that has been portrayed to us throughout history is dying, and a modern sense of worldview and belief in a higher power and a stronger life force out there that's guiding us is what is going to be prevalent. People believe that there's something out there guiding them that's powerful, but they don't believe it flooded the earth 10,000 years ago. They don't believe the earth is only 10,000 years old. People are seeing that evolution has, at least to some degree, been proven, and it all has to fit within that idiom. Something is out there guiding us, probably, but if you believe that one of the books is true to a fault and everything in it is something that you need to follow in your life, I have a feeling you're going to be a very unhappy person by the end of it. But that's just my thoughts, guys. I know I upset some people there, but please argue it down below with me. Argue that everything in the book is exactly as it should be and exactly what I should follow. If you change my mind, I will let you know in an update video. I am up for mind changing and suggestions. I want to hear you because you just listened to me for like 10 minutes. So congratulations to you. Thank you for listening to me, and check us out down below. Leave your comments and check out anchor.fm/podcasting and Young Controversy on Instagram if you haven't. But for now, I'm Devin Roberts. This is Young Controversy. I'm out. Peace.